Coming up in today's video, we've got two patients with really narrow ear canals.
We do, yeah. And apologies in advance. I'm getting over a cold and Taylor's just coming down with it, so we're not feeling particularly great today. But
bit croaky.
First patient's mine, narrow ear canal here. You can see this almost looks like chicken skin right at the entrance to the canal. So super dry ear canal wall skin. And this can happen for a number of different reasons. It's very common as we get older. We don't produce as much oil inside the canal, and it starts to dry that skin out. Normally, you produce an oil layer to soften any older skin that's become sort of very dehydrated, and will soften it so it will fall out as well as the wax. Yep. But it hasn't happened in this case. Some people are just more prone to kind of drier wax anyway. You can see just how tough this is. I was having real difficulty picking this up. It did not want to let me pick it up at all.
Just flick it up.
Yeah. But it came away really nicely. Now this piece here, now you can see I'm trying to pull on this, but look at the bottom of it. You can see it's bled at some point.
Yeah.
I'm afraid to sort of pull it away, only because the patient said, yeah, I get terrible problems with dry skin. My skin starts to split and then it starts to bleed. Well, at the moment, that is almost forming like a band-aid over the top of that particular bit of sort of rupture to the skin there, if you like, or abrasion to the skin. So if I take that away, it's going to start to bleed. So I'm going to deal with the wax in here, and I can't remember whether I remove it. I don't think I do. I think I leave it there and I just say to the patient, look, just soften it up a little bit and it'll come away when it's ready. But you can see these little tiny lifts and they're all really firmly attached. You just can't get the grip in there to pull that away, unfortunately.
Yeah, it'd be tricky to get your forceps on that as well, because
But I know I say to these patients, use some olive oil, and give them that advice. In fairness, I think it was the first time this particular patient's been through, and she was having lots and lots of difficulties, more so with this side here, where she was saying I was getting lots of tinnitus. It was really kind of uncomfortable in there, and she was at the end of her tether by the time she got to us. She'd been back before the GP, nothing was really getting done. She was really saying, like, you are my only, that's not very Star Wars, you are my only hope to get this out. And when I first looked, I was like, oh yeah, probably we should be able to get this done, but it's just so bone dry, and the patient hasn't used any olive oil. Even though we do ask all our patients to do it, I think it was a combination of the fact that her ear canal was uncomfortable, and she had this raging tinnitus. She didn't want to make that any worse. So I think for her it was just this kind of, well, I don't really want to use any olive oil. I'd rather you just try and get it out.
Yeah, it's a tricky one, isn't it?
Yeah.
The oil always has that chance of expanding the wax a little bit as it starts to soften.
Yeah. Plugging gaps around it as well.
And which, I can see why people don't like using oil. Yeah. But in cases like this where it's rock solid, it does really make a big difference.
The sort of narrowness of the canal hinders the tools you can use as well. I was going in there with a couple of different tools, and every time I was coming out with the tool, every time I come, have you got it? Have you got it? Have you got it? And it was kind of, and I got to the point where I said, look, I realistically, I might not be able to get this out today because it's so dry and there's no oil being used. And she just looked absolutely crestfallen, like as if I just literally pulled the rug from underneath her. And I said, look, by that point you're like, oh, I've got to try and help this patient. They are really desperate. So the Rosin insert is going in. That's the only chance really. Suction won't grip the hard wax. Rosin insert, right curette is too right hook. Thank you. Right hook is too wide. And the only option I've got left available then is the Rosin inserter.
Yeah, they're really good for squeezing in those little tiny gaps.
Yeah, they are.
But they're just a little bit too flexible. I mean, they kind of have to be in a way because it's quite a small tool. It can be quite sharp. I mean, it doesn't feel sharp, but when you're in the ear canal, it's, you've got to be careful.
Pressure point, isn't it, where it's right now, but it looks nice and healthy. I actually had to mod one the other day.
Oh, did you?
I did. I had a paediatric patient with a really hard piece of wax who was stuck in it. It was just too long to get over the top. So I snipped it. I got scissors and snipped it just at an angle, just to shorten the hook a little bit. Just means to get back behind it. Yeah,
it's a good idea.
That's it.
But I think it was just over a centimetre on that.
Oh, I'm glad you were paying attention. I
just spotted it.
It's what we called when I was a kid. We'd MacGyver it.
MacGyver.
Remember MacGyver?
The name rings a bell. I'm not familiar
before you
with
were talking about
it.
A-Team, if you remember that kind of area. It's kind of just after the A-Team. Yeah, I used to love the A-Team. I was good.
I was a little bit too young for that.
You are, but yeah, that's a bit
I was only a small one. Still that's all now, but
you're not you're at least that's all.
This is my patient now, so we've gone on to the second patient of the compilation, and this patient came to see myself feeling really blocked up, comes every 6 months roughly, and the wax is pretty similar every time the patient comes in. You can see it's not so much narrow, but it's very bendy. It kind of goes in and then back the other way. And I think this is one of the main reasons why this patient gets trouble with this wax building up so often. And it does really affect her. She's always desperate when she comes through, and as soon as it's cleared, the patient's like, oh, it's amazing, I can hear again. But patient uses a little bit of oil before coming in, so like a couple of days usually. Doesn't tend to use it on a regular basis because of some of the main reasons we just mentioned. Doesn't like feeling blocked up, and it's all the usual sort of issues you get when you use oil. But it's just enough to soften the wax, to shimmy it out, so it keeps that that kind of thickness to the wax where we can get a good grip on it and we can move it without it sticking to the ear canal. So we're just trying to tighten it. There's a little bit just at the top right there now. You're going to see me just trying to grab. It's a very, very thin piece of dry skin, this one. We do manage to take a little bit away, but I'm not going to squeeze around the corner to get that last tiny little bit. Very tricky to get to, but
it's hard when you've got that sort of quite pronounced bend. Because the way you would look at it is your ear canal's kind of coming this way, so you're pulling the wax this way, and then it almost bends back. So you've got to pull it forward enough, then bend it, then bring it out, then bend it back again to get it out the canal. It's tough, isn't it?
But patient's over the moon though. Being able to have this cleared, on a quite quickly as well, because we're pretty good with our availability at the moment. We've got usually same day appointments at the moment. So.
Well, now Katie's kind of up and running, full time and kind of be able to work pretty much independently. As long as one of us are kind of around in the business, she's doing really well. And in fairness to her, she's smashing it. I mean, you guys have obviously seen that in the videos yourself, but she's doing really, really well. And this stuff though, she's attempting a little bit more complex stuff, and like I'm not getting much in the way of. Follow-ups. It's a bit like this when you first started, because obviously you were kind of new to the endoscope and stuff. But now, it got to the point where if Taylor had sent me something that he couldn't do, it genuinely was something that I would really struggle with as well. And it's got to that point now with Katie, isn't it? Where she's kind of getting the simpler stuff out. And it's the more really kind of more complex and unusual stuff that we can.
She's booking the follow-ups in with us, and we're like, I'm struggling with this.
It's just like, I don't know. I think we just book them back in with Katie. I'm gonna start booking mine in with Katie, and I'm gonna start sending that through to her.
Like a big vicious circle.
That's it. But she's doing really, really well. So it just means that because we've got 3 of us now full time, that availability has gone up, and it makes a big old difference. So if you are struggling with your ears, guys, don't forget you can always book yourself an appointment. You can do that online, or you can give us a call here at clinic. There's links in the link tree, which is in the description below if you need to do that as well.
So you had to squeeze that last little bit through then.
Real beastie.
It's left a lot of staining in here now, all these little tiny like sort of spots you'll see now a little bit deeper in the ear canal and up against the eardrum. We're not really bothered about clearing those little bits away. It's not going to cause any problems with the patient. If the patient does use a little bit of oil afterwards, these will start, even naturally in the bath or the shower, they should start to migrate naturally. But we always send out reminders now for sort of 6 month time, and do the same process again 6 months.
At least they're coming through regularly on the 6 months. It's the problem. If you leave it longer, it's so much more of a difficult one to get out.
There we are.
Looking very nice.
The eardrum is looking good. So just under 3 centimetres, I would say there.
Just over an inch on that one, guys. Well, thanks very much for watching the video again today, guys. Don't forget, if you do enjoy the videos, you're going to like, heart, share, follow, subscribe. If you're watching this on YouTube, there'll be a video in one of these 2 corners that's related to what you're watching today. And as always, guys, take care of yourselves.
Take care of your ears.
And take care of one another and myself. And lovely Mr. Taylor Green. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.